Welcome to Camp 17. We are...
My armpits are sweaty.
My armpits are so
really
sweaty. I don't normally sweat my armpits. But really what we want to help you do is manage your safety. When we feel safe, we'll connect with people. My nostrils aren't as big as yours.
Your fight looks different. Your struggle is going to look different. It is not going to look the same as everyone else.
You're my best friend. You're my best friend. Oh man. The roller coaster. Have you all ridden a roller coaster? I love roller coasters, but not all the time. Some of you have been on a roller coaster since you can remember, and you know exactly what it looks like. You know the long, steep climbs. You know the heart-wrenching, gut in your mouth drops, the fast turns that make your neck pop. You know your roller coaster. You know your roller coaster of emotions. You know, or maybe you don't know what happens when you feel sad. When you feel like somebody's hurt you, when someone's broken your trust. Maybe you don't know what happens inside of you when you get angry. Maybe you're not even aware. I just got mad. Why? Did you know that anger is a secondary emotion? It's secondary to pain, fear, rejection, vulnerability, sadness, sorrow. It's so much easier to get angry than it is to feel those primary emotions. Anger is not the primary one, but we go to it because it makes us feel powerful. It makes us feel safe. We talked about safety in the cycle. So now I want to talk about a roller coaster of emotions. I want to talk about sickness and wellness, and I want to talk about how that affects you. Like I said earlier, when we do not feel safe, when we know pain, when we know high stress situations, some of you, your lives are literally just high stress. Everything, the people, the places, the things, traffic, all of it, you're jacked all the time. You wear your shoulders in your ears like ornaments. I hold all my stress up here. Yes, you do, but you don't have to. That's just the way that you respond to hard situations. I have chronic inflammation. I have gut problems. I've got psoriasis. I've got eczema. I've got an autoimmune disorder. I have heart disease. I have cancer. We have so many diseases in our world. But 80 to 90% of all disease has like a spiritual and emotional root. It's inside of us. And for some of you, you have like pent up emotions that are like actually stuck in your body. You have pain and you have sadness that has sat itself inside of your muscles. Do you have heart palpitations? Because your heart hurts. Is your brain not functioning the way that you want it and need it to function because you actually feel hopeless? Do you have an autoimmune disorder because you've lived your whole life hating yourself? Do you have cancer growing in your body, or multiplication of cells that shouldn't be there, or certain diseases that find themselves as like inflammatory sores or skin disorders because you're living with like bitterness and resentment and unforgiveness inside of you? We've all been hurt. We've all been hurt. People have broken our trust. But something that we have to remember is that as much as people have hurt us, we have hurt people. Some of you refuse to forgive people in your life for things that they have done to you. Some of you have had trauma that no person should ever go through. Never. Like bad things happen to you, and I am so sorry, and they never should have happened to you. That was not okay. It was not okay. But we have to let the people that have hurt us go. We have to forgive people, even if we don't feel like it. Forgiveness does not mean access. Forgiving does not mean that what you're saying is that what they did was right. Somebody hurt you, that was not right. But unforgiveness breeds all sorts of emotions that are eating us alive. They're making us sick. They're like, you've had traumas that actually have changed the way that your body works, and you're living in a state of feeling unsafe. And so you feel stressed out all the time because you've lived there, because it's what you've known. But all the world isn't bad. Not everyone is going to hurt you. But people who have hurt you, you have to let them go. Unforgiveness that breeds itself like in you, it will make you sick. It will make you sick. It could kill you. It could kill you. Because unforgiveness is like drinking poison hoping the person that hurt you will die. Unforgiveness is like holding that person up against the wall with your hands around their neck. Your hands are really tied up and they can't do anything else. So forgive the people that have hurt you. Forgive them. Even if you don't want to. Let them go. The only person that is hurting is you. Be well instead of sick. Heart sickness is a real thing. Hopelessness is a real thing. And when we live in this state of feeling unsafe all the time, where we don't connect with people and we actually don't take care of our bodies, when we don't deal with our emotions, when we don't exercise, when we don't get out our stress by like punching and kicking things, certain hormones build up in our bodies and they make us sick. Too much stress in your life builds up cortisol, and built up cortisol does a lot of really bad things to you. Keeps weight around your abdomen, gives you like a flushed out look in your face. Acne. You feel exhausted and fatigued, but yet you can't sleep. You're like wired. Your blood pressure's high. And all sorts of there's all sorts of things. But that's just one hormone. We're not going to get into all of them. But what I want to tell you is the emotions that you don't want to deal with inside of you, the pain that you don't want to deal with inside of you, it actually could be killing you. If you don't want to deal with your pain and so you turn to food, you're not going to turn to broccoli. You're not going to run to asparagus. You're not going to run to a well-balanced meal. You're going to run to Ben & Jerry's. And it numbs that pain for a little while, and then the pain comes up again, and then you do it again, and it becomes a vicious cycle. If you want to be well, you have to be all of you well. You can't just have a really great body. You getting to a certain weight is not going to make you happy. It's not going to solve your problems. That's why we say Camp 17 is not a weight loss program. It's not. It will be a byproduct of you dealing with your heart, though. The women that we have seen go through our camps that have lost the most amount of weight, they are the women who have dealt with their hearts. They have dealt with their minds. They have forgiven people. But let's keep in mind too that there are people that are waiting for us to apologize to them. They're waiting. They're waiting for you, because we've hurt people too, but we forget about that. We want to pay attention to all the injustices and all the things that have happened to us
and all the ways in which people have hurt us, and we forget that we do the same thing, and there might be people out there waiting for you to come and apologize to them. You getting rid of guilt and shame for things that you have done and apologizing to people could actually make you well. Shame is a very, very, very heavy thing. It's heavy. It weighs a lot. Is it weighing you down? Some of you ladies, you need to forgive yourself. You've made mistakes. You have to forgive you. So some of you, an autoimmune disorder is when your body turns upon itself. So are you nice to yourself? What do you say to yourself every single day when you get dressed, when you get undressed, when you step in the shower, when you're standing in front of the mirror? What do you say to yourself? Are you kind or are you unkind? Do you have trouble moving your body and your body doesn't work very well, or you're in chronic pain and so you don't exercise, but in fact, you're living so stressed out and in such a place of disconnection and guilt and shame or even victimization that you have disconnected yourself fully from your body. Your body doesn't even work anymore. We say, squeeze your glutes, and you're like, I don't know how. I want you to blow air into your belly. I want you to inhale breath into your belly. And then it doesn't work. Because have you struggled with infertility? Like your womb didn't do what it was supposed to do as a woman? And so maybe you need to forgive your womb for not doing what you thought that it should do. Because it's okay. It's okay, but you need to forgive yourself for the things that you didn't do or that you did do. And so we need to forgive ourselves. So you might need to forgive yourself. You might have parts of your body that you don't like, but if you and I are friends, I cannot find everything I don't like about you and tell you all the things I don't like about you and expect for us to connect. And so some of you are so disconnected from your own body that you cannot even get it to do what you want it to do. Your body does a really, really awesome job of metabolizing things. But if it's overly stressed, it doesn't metabolize stuff. It doesn't break down your food like it should. Same thing, if every time you eat food that you know maybe you shouldn't eat, instead of enjoying it, you feel shame, your body will not break down the food. It will not break down the food like it should, because the wrong hormones are being elicited in those moments. The wrong enzymes are being sent because there's shame attached to the food. What if you just enjoyed the food? What would happen if you just enjoyed the food that you ate instead of feeling ashamed about the food that you're eating? Because why are you eating it? Are you eating it for pleasure? Food is good, it tastes good, and there's nothing wrong with that. But why are you eating it? What is it doing inside of you? Is it filling a hole? Is it feeding an emotion? What is it doing? But we have to look at our lives, and we have to look at the pain and the wounds and the trauma that has happened to us and say, man, I have stuff living in me and I need to get it out. There are people that I am still so angry at. You need to forgive them. You need to let them go. Because it's killing you. What if you learned to struggle and you grew and you learned to persevere and endure and your character was tested and you're like, man, I made it through this struggle, and then you find hope on the other side? What would happen? You would find hope. What does hope do? Oh my gosh. Hopelessness and discouragement do not need to be a part of your life. Things have happened to you. People have hurt you, but you have to let them go. You have to forgive you for your mistakes, because you might actually have disease breeding itself inside of your body merely because of the pain that we don't want to admit, the mistakes that we want to admit. the parts of our stories that we don't want to admit and we don't want people to know. But you can't get off a roller coaster in the middle of a roller coaster. You got to go back to where it started. And so some of you need to go back into your story. You might need to go get counseling after camp or in the middle of camp. It's great. It's such a good thing because it means that you're dealing with your heart and you're dealing with your mind so that you can be well. Because wellness is not a rockin' body. Wellness is not a size 2 pant. I will tell you honestly that for so long, I wished that I was not as strong as I am, that people would stop making comments about my arms. As a child, I got made fun of for having muscles on my body. I did, for real. And so I despise my body. Maybe if I was smaller, then people wouldn't call me a beast and a badass and a freak of nature. And I would always say, man, my body, I just can't get it below 137 pounds. Who cares? But I normally would weigh like 150 pounds. But the more and more that I have dealt with my heart and I have dealt with my mind, I have dealt with my pain, I have forgiven people, I have forgiven myself. I have learned to realize my own struggles and my own frailty and my own lack. The more that I have done that, literally, my body has begun to change. My body is smaller than it has ever been, which is so weird because I am in a season of life right now where I am not eating well. So it doesn't even make sense. Exercise is like a once or twice a week thing. But what's happening is that I'm dealing with my heart and my mind, and my body is settling in to the way that it was supposed to be because I've stopped hating parts of myself. I've stopped hating my arms. I've stopped hating how big my butt is. And I've started to say, like, this is who I am. I'm strong, I'm fast, I can jump high, but that still makes me beautiful. And I'm sitting below 137 pounds. It's so bizarre. So what I'm telling you is that it's happening in me so it can happen in you, but it's a process. But we have to be able to deal with our pain. We have to know where we can be safe and where we're unsafe. We have to stop living so stressed out and move over to the other side of the arch and learn to breathe through our nose and out our mouth while we're training. And to tend and befriend and to connect with people because that will make us healthier. So let's get off the roller coaster. Let's get off. Let's start taking care of ourselves and being well, like really well, not just in our minds and our hearts, and then our body will come later, or body, because once your body is the way that you think it's supposed to be, but you haven't dealt with your heart and your mind, your body's not gonna matter. Sickness and wellness. I want you to be well. I'm learning and growing, and I know what it is to be well. Here and here and here. It's crazy. And I invite you to that. So who do you need to forgive? What parts of yourself do you need to forgive? Are there people that you need to apologize to? Those are hard. It's humbling. And we gotta look. You gotta get a shovel and you gotta start digging. But it is totally worth it because you're worth it. Your wellness is worth it. Your health is worth it. Your life is worth it. You have a life that you need to live, but you can't fully do it if you're sick and if you're sad. Okay? Let's do this.